Right. All right. Welcome, everybody. Raul Luna here from the Real Estate Weekly Talk Show. We're going to be covering how to invest in real estate in a changing market today. So, for everybody who's actually watching live, we got several people connected here to the webinar as well as live on Facebook. So, pretty exciting because I'm going to touch bases on a very specific topic. If you notice, we're almost in the middle, we're right on the middle of the month, of the year, I'm sorry, and also of the month, actually past the month here as well. So anyways, very crucial, for the ones that don't know me, I just want to, make sure that you guys understand who I am, especially because there's, a lot of it is happening in real estate today. And it just seems to get better and better and better. And a lot of people think that, it's just going to get better forever, right? And real estate does, especially when you're looking at on a very long horizon. I've been in this industry for 19 years, ladies and gentlemen, and I've seen some great economic growths and some busts. I've been a part of, I think it's been two different busts in the real estate field. And I don't know about you guys, but it seems like things are happening, things are changing. Last year we noticed that. And we're going to be talking about that on how you can, be aware, not scared, but aware on how to invest profitably in a changing market. So that's very important. So welcome to everybody that is connecting. Congratulations, because I know in the next 25 to 35 minutes, there's a lot of information that we're going to be covering. And it's pretty exciting because, today is the very first time that we're going Facebook Live with this, and hopefully it'll stay there. But anyhow, we're going to be covering quite a bit. So, 19 years in this business, took my real estate career and grew my investments to over $25 million worth in assets. Lost it all in 2008-9, and I can tell you that it was I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to go up and able to collapse and able to get things into perspective and grow stronger, better, healthier, with my feet on the ground. So it's very important for everybody to understand that I speak from experience. I speak not from theory, not from, because I read it from a book or because, it's really just, it's just really, I learned it somewhere and I've never done, real estate investing. As a matter of fact, we currently buy anywhere from 5 to 7 properties at any given time, every single month. So it's pretty exciting. I don't tell you this to, to impress you or I'm sharing it to impress upon the fact that, if a farm boy from a farm town who was raised in Mexico, born in America, but that I have the roots of my Mexican family, but, I also had the opportunity to be born here in the US, I was able to see both ends. And today I can tell you that, for someone like me to be able to do it, anybody can. There's no, don't put any excuses, because I'll tell you this much. The only results that you have is because of the limitations that you've bought. So if you don't have more, is because you haven't allowed yourself to think more. Yes, there is obviously things that you got to be aware, and I want to take you back to at the end of 2018, last year. And the reason being is because hitting September, I started noticing that the rates, we knew, we saw it, we experienced it, that the rates were coming, were incrementing at the beginning of the year in 2018, because the market, the real estate market was extremely hot. Like, people will throw a property on the MLS and literally, it didn't matter if it was fixed up or not fixed up, if it was a fixer upper, people will just snap it and fight for it and throw endless amount of money, and from not only retail buyers but investor buyers. They were just throwing all over crazy money, and as we started obviously to see the interest rates increase, as the Fed started increasing it, we noticed that towards September, November, December, January of this year, early this year, we noticed that there was definitely a market sentiment slowdown. I noticed it, having 5 to 7 deals happening at any given time, whether we're buying or selling. Trust me, we feel it. And we had a good handle on it. And I want to share a very specific story, because I think you'll understand. There was this property in San Jose, California, that we had under contract, and we had it under contract. The contract was to close about 4 to 5 months, because the seller wanted it to first allow the tenant to move out, and then we would close escrow. So we agreed to that. We liked the idea because it was better for us to receive the property vacant. We locked it down. I'm going to show you some evidence and some numbers, as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you here. Let me turn the light off because I'm getting blinded here. Hopefully you can still see me. But anyways, I'm going to share my screen. And Mr. Omar, if you can tell me if by sharing my screen, people on Facebook are still able to see it. Hopefully they can. So you can let me know on that, please. Give me a second. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Actually, you know what? I wanted to share it, but okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the numbers of this specific property, okay? I want to show you the numbers on this specific property, and take a look at it. This property, we bought it. Give me a second. I think I got the wrong one. I think I did. What? It's happening here. Okay, yeah, I did have the wrong one. My apologies there. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you the property that I want to showcase, because it's important for everybody to understand what we're going to be covering here today. See, I want you to see the numbers, and this is important for the real estate investor community. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to what I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you a deal analyzer. Pay attention. Look, this property in San Jose, California, Silicon Valley, everything was going terrific. We put it under contract sometime. It was sometime in May or April or May of, thank you, Mr. Omar. April or May of last year, okay? And it was scheduled to close 72 hours after the tenant leave. We were watching rate increases going up. We were not liking what we were experiencing. We had a deposit. I was straight blunt about it. We called the seller and we told the seller, we shared it. We had it, I think it was at the time, I think it was either $800,000. And yeah, it's here, yeah. And see, at the time, if you see my screen, we had the after repair value, which is the ARV, the future value of this property, fully renovated. And I'm telling you straight out, I'm giving you true experience, true story. The ARV of this property was $1 million, okay? $1 million. That's what the comps showed, but the market was changing. Now, the market was at all-time high, and it was dipping down, Yeah, today we know that on this spring, it actually picked up again a little bit, and now I'm starting to see a little bit deep down again. So I don't know if you follow the stock market. I follow it just to get wise and aware of what's happening in the stock market, not because necessarily I'm heavy on it or, oh my God, it's the thing of the century. As a matter of fact, You know, I was vested at one point, not anymore. Right now, it's really just mainly real estate. But guess what the stock market is doing? Is doing this. Is doing the sort of like the yo-yo effect. So pay attention. ARV, I thought it was $1,000,000. You know, the current as is, I said, well, 950. That's, you know, that's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. You know, and the estimated cost of repairs, I said, with 40 grand that I put into the, you know, property, I'll be able to sell it for, you know, for $1,000,000. And the purchase price was $800,000. Okay, 800,000. Now, if you notice, a million to 800,000, the difference, it's basically you're looking at what probably and we'll do the math. $1,000,000 times 80%. That's 800,000. We were really tight on this purchase. We were super tight. Picture this, okay? We were really tight. We were under contract. The market started to shift down. And write this down. I keep track what is called active to pending ratio. And the active to pending ratio tells me a story. When we were, about 2 to 3 weeks from closing, I checked all my numbers again. And this is about 3 to 4 months that I was into contract. Obviously, the deposit had gone hard. At that point, I looked at my Wi-Fi's because she had the relationship with the seller. It was from a direct mail that call that we received from direct mail. And I told her, I said, listen, we gotta be transparent. We just gotta call the seller and let her know. Now, the seller was a real estate broker, just so that you know, okay? Real estate broker selling us the house. The seller was the principal and the broker selling us the house. We were under contract for 800,000. We called her up and told her, we're going to be absolutely real with you. Whether you like it or you don't, it's okay. Because I'm pretty sure you will not be happy if we lose our shirts, basically completely, if we lose our shirts, because we bought it incorrectly. And she said, no, of course not. I said, I'm willing to give you my deposit, keep the deposit, but we won't be able to buy it for 800,000. The reason, the active to pending ratio, there's more properties active right now on the market. And I'm talking about back then. This was sometime, in the September market, September month or something like that. And we'll see it here. Maybe I'm not having the date specifically, but I'm going to show you some evidence, all right? And it was interesting because we told her straight out. I said, I keep the deposit. We don't want it. We know we're not going to be able to move forward. She said, well, at what price is it going to make sense? I said, it's going to be about 700,000. And I showed her obviously true evidence. I said, this is what's happening with the market. It took us too long to close because you were waiting for the tenant to move out, and we agreed to that now, quite honestly, we will lose money on this deal. She said, she didn't like it, obviously, but she says, give me about 15 minutes. She called some of her friends, real estate agents and brokers, and she called back to us and said, you know what? You guys can have it. You guys go ahead and have it for the 700. And I said, what happened? What did you found out? Says, you know what? You guys are being very truthful with me. I am so glad that I'm working with you guys because, I called my real estate friends and they did told me that the market was slowing down, that the rates were having an effect, that the most I could get for this property, fixed up, it was not going to be what we had thought at the beginning. And she was really fully aware that we were going to make money. And that's the only way I play in this field. People need to know that we're in it for profit and that we're not in it just to lose money, because no one should, or at least that's not our play, right? And I'm sharing this because I feel like this winter, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Rates are low. And even though rates are low, we're on some areas, I'm starting to see different changes. I don't know about you, but you can share your experiences. But but you know, it's interesting to see what's going to happen this coming winter. Okay, now usually on the winter, on the season of the winter, you know, the market tends to slow down. It's October, November, December, January, everybody's in, you know, in the holiday season, in the New Year's, in the, you know, Thanksgiving, on, you know, Halloween, you know, you name it, right? And that's understandable. But when rates are low, when the actual season, you know, the winter season is here, and we are at a super peak, top of the market, you know, where do you think we're heading, right? I just want to show you this experience. I said 90 days, I'll be in and out based on my numbers. If you notice, based on putting a first hard money loan in it, a second private money loan in it, and doing all my numbers, my data, my property deal analyzer tells me that I could profit $100,000 into this deal. Now, I don't touch, you know, very rarely. I do touch sometimes, but very rarely. If there is no true 10% net after everything, after commissions, after closing cost on the way in, closing cost on the way out, you know, money cost on, you know, on the first loan, on the second loan, you know, property taxes, insurance, after, you know, holding cost and everything. If there's not a 10%, very rarely do I buy. Now, keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. This loudly and clearly stated that it was a deal. Okay? Time revealed what was happening. Time revealed what was happening with the sentiment of the market. And I'm going to show you basically here. Okay? I'm going to show you now another one. This were the comps. These were the comps that we had. You know, this is the comps that we used. Every comp showed, if you notice here, one said sold for 910, the other one 928, but one 1 million, it was 1 million right here. We were using the highest comp, and then there was another one, 1,014,000, 1,050,000. I didn't want to use the 1,050,000. A lot of people use the highest one, and it was interesting because look at those dates, but it's very interesting. You know, the property had a potential to be sold for $1 million. And what ended up happening was, you know, and these are the pictures. I'm going to show you pictures of the before. Okay. These are the pictures of the before, just so that you can have an idea, you know, very, not a whole lot of light. Okay. Not a lot of light. But it wasn't like in really bad, condition. New roof. There was new roof. Windows were okay. Were relatively, new. I mean, he had a nice porch, as you could see here. I mean, it wasn't bad at all, but the market wasn't helping either. And let me show you here. Give me a second. Boy, I lost it. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back again. Now, let me show you here. So that's the property. Okay, I want you to pay attention to the deal analyzer again. Okay, that's what I had. And now I'm going to take you to Redfin. And look what happened, okay? Now this is the after repair. Now we sold it. We actually sold it without renovating it, okay? And I want you to pay attention. The company that bought it, okay, bought it and they did the renovation to it. This is the after, you know, renovated views. This is the pictures after renovating. They kept the cabinets. They just did countertops. They changed obviously the door there. You know, lights, very simple lights. Everything simple, nothing major, nothing out of the ordinary. But see, nobody was watching really how much of a change was the market. You know, was the market was going to have. Now look at this. Look at this. If we look at what Redfin says that is worth right now, it says 894. That's the estimate. Now pay attention to this. Look at this. If we go to the comps, you know, here on Redfin, you know, it's interesting because keep in mind, this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. And then if we go to the comps suggest, okay, that you see this one that says March 15, 2019. Venado Way, 1,020,000, the same size of the home, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,400 square feet. You know, how come this one couldn't sold for $1,000,000 if it shows loud and clear? Look at this one, February 28, 2019. See, I believe the market was coming up again, you know, right on February and March, and I started noticing because property started to pick up. But this property was you know, the one that we eventually end up buying because the real estate broker, you know, was, you know, she saw that we were real, that we were telling her exactly what it is. Loud and clear, though, the comps showed very different. Now, remember, sold comps will only tell you a story of the past. That's why I consider the sold for what happened in the past. I consider the actives for what's happening in the future, okay? And I consider the pendings for the present moment at the time. And every, you know, actives, pendings, and sold will tell you a different story. And we better pay attention, okay? I want to show you the history of this house, okay? Just so that you can see here. Look what happened. Back in July 17, that's when we bought it. 700,000, okay? 700,000. We put it out there to be sold, okay? Not on the market, not on the MLS, but this happened, you know, in a private sale. After we close escrow, we put it on the market, and it was purchased for $855,000 the same way that we bought it, okay? We were in shock. The reason why we were in shock is because I knew many people were not paying attention what was happening in that dip, okay? Many people were not. We get so busied in our lives that we were about to lose our shirts. Watch. This big, massive hedge fund bought it for $855. Then they did the renovation. I don't know how much money they put into it, but assuming they did $50,000 to $60,000, that puts them into $900,000 and some change. You know, maybe 2 months of renovation or less. Then they put it and listed it on October 4th on the market. It's on the market, $999. Nothing happened. In November 9, 2018, they reduced it to $849. Now, nothing happened. Nothing happened. November 20th, nothing happened. January 2nd, they sold it for $850. Who can tell me what do you see wrong in this mathematics or this calculations? They bought it for $855. They did renovation, and then they sold it for $850. I mean, on a market that it was supposed to sell for $1,000,000. Why am I sharing this? Because a lot of real estate agents and sometimes brokers, they think that every property is going to be able to maximize most of the time, and also investors, you know, and I used to think that way. I used to think that every property we're going to be able to maximize every single inch of the way. And I'm going to tell you that it so happens that last winter of last year, rates were up. The market was extremely overheated, that we started noticing, because we were paying attention to the active to pending ratios, that there were more properties being active on a 24-hour basis than properties going pending on a 24-hour basis. We were watching it very closely. I still watch it today, and I'm paying close attention to it, and I'm noticing that there is some markets that is showing a trend of softness. Now, I'm not here to predict the future. I'm not here because I don't know. Certainly, otherwise, you know, if I had a crystal ball, believe me, we could kick some butt, you know, like never before. But what I'm saying is, you know, whatever it is, maybe they lost 50 or whatever it is. It's a hair on a, you know, it's a drop in a bucket has, for a massive conglomerate hedge fund, it's no worry to be had. But once again, this could mean a lot if it was just a private investor or a private person like us that obviously just by not paying attention, you can get yourself into trouble, right? Now, we obviously did well, but I'll tell you this much. The reason why we did well was because it was sold immediately. If we had waited, we probably would have broke even by the time, how long you notice it was August, September, October, November, December, January. It took 6 months from the time of closing of the purchase to the time of the sale. Picture that. Just understand that. And now comps are showing back again. That means if they would have waited 2 more months, they could have sold it maybe slightly higher. I could be completely wrong, but I think the real estate market could actually mirror the stock market of going up and down, up and down, up and down. Have you heard there's a song that, have you heard this song that says up and down, something like that, right? Well, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'll tell you this much. After going bankrupt with over $20 million worth of assets, losing my shirt off in 2018, 2019, losing all the cars, basically going back to an apartment, being on I think at the time I went and asked for unemployment, being on the unemployment line, it was not fun at all. I wasn't feeling, happy about it, but I'll tell you this much. I made myself a promise that I was going to educate and I was going to become wise and knowledgeable, that I was going to perfect this, that I was going to invest like a professional, that I wouldn't care what other people tell me. Well, you know what, you're too conservative. I don't think I am. I think that I know how to invest. And the way we're investing today is we got to pay attention to many factors. It's like when I was flying, when I was at the academy flying to become a pilot, there's a lot of things that you got to measure. You got to measure the temperature. You got to measure the air pressure. You got to measure your destination, how much fuel. You got to check that the aircraft is actually, in great condition. If it's, the clouds, you got to, the wind. I mean, there's a lot of things to measure. And in real estate is no different. You got to measure them, or else somebody, someone is going to, I can guarantee you this, someone is going to lose in the next downturn, and someone is going to create their wealth. Okay, someone is going to lose and someone is going to win. You decide which side you want to be into. All I can say is that after going through that process, we need to pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. We need to pay very close attention. So anyways, before, let me stop sharing my screen. Now, what I want to do before I start taking questions, okay, what I want to be able to do is the following, right? There is, an event. There was a live event that I had maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was in San Mateo, California, and we recorded the entire event. I think it was a 12, 14-hour event. It was supposed to be a 2-day event, but we crammed it into 1 day, and we called it the freaking How to Find Freaking Awesome Real Estate Deals event. And we actually sold it. When we sold out the event, we only did it for a very selected small group of people, and we sold it for $997, ladies and gentlemen. It's a $10,000 value event with all the bonuses added and everything that people received. It was a $10,000, obviously, value event that we allow people to buy it for $997. Well, let me tell you the following. We have the recording that you could actually be a part of that very same event, and you could watch it as many times as you want. You could actually, repeat it as many times as you need, and you could pay very close attention on how we find freaking awesome real estate deals that make sense, Doesn't matter what type of market that you're in. You know, I go through, as a matter of fact, if and the you know, the crazy thing is this: value is the same over 10 grand that I know you're getting off of value. But you know, we're giving a very great special today for 400. Listen to this. It's not even $1,000 because, you know, it's not a live event, but you're getting everything that people experiencing that event, okay, for only $497. And as a matter of fact, let me see if I'm able to, you know, share my screen just so that you can get to see exactly, you know, exactly what I'm talking about. You know, if you actually go to, there you go. It's called Finding Freaking Awesome Real Estate Event Recording. You get to see my top 5 marketing funnels and secret strategies that I personally use to finding, you know, properties consistently, not once in a while, not, you know, once in a blue moon, but consistently. You know, I cover secrets to highly targeted marketing campaigns. I will actually give you access, you know, to this very same resources that I use, how to evaluate residential real estate deals to flip and cash flow, how to evaluate commercial deals to flip and cash flow. And we go through case studies, you know, on these deals. Not only that, give you access to my marketing vendors, give you access to the contracts that I use, to the addendums that I use, you know, and I obviously show how to structure deals creatively. And then the bonuses that you get is you get access to a $3 million, you heard it right, $3 million, you know, proof of fund. Is not a funky looking one that you get online for free. This one is an actual bank statement that you get from my resources that you could use as a proof of fund. Usually you need a proof of fund when you're making offers with agents. When you're direct to the seller, once in a while you'll be asked. But, you know, proof of fund, it's a big deal. I remember when I first started, didn't have it. I felt limited. And not only that, there was no internet back then, or at least the way we had it today, right? Or in many different things. I will help you evaluate deals. Up to 3 deals, I will help you evaluate. And we get to partner up. You buy this program, we get to partner up. Obviously, the deal needs to make sense, and you got to be the right person. Because if you're a total, you know, a knucklehead, I may not want to, you know, partner up, right? But go ahead. There's money back guaranteed. Go ahead and get registered for $497. You get to have it for the entire year. In other words, you get 1 full year, full access, and it's literally, we crammed it all in one day. It's about 12 to 14 hours of recording video and audio. And you're going to get to see exactly, it's unfiltered, is the way, the very same way that we recorded it. So you get to experience obviously the whole thing. All right. Anyways, for that, go to levelupnowacademy.com/find. Okay. Mr. Omar is going to share it there on the chat. So it's levelupnowacademy.com/find. Okay. So be a part of finding freaking awesome real estate deals. I can tell you story after story from people that have actually done it, like Daisy Rees. She's making, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in profits. You know, we got Carlos Rivera. He's got his very first property on the market, hit yesterday, barely on the market, over 6 figures, you know, of profit is going to be made. We got Mr. Alberto Bravo, Reno, Nevada, took the class. 30 days later, got a deal over 100K also in profits. So it's happening in real life, in real time, you know, but it only happens to the ones that are dedicated, that have made a decision, that are ready to make some big things happen in their lives as well. All right. So anyways, that's my pitch for this webinar. So let's talk about, if there's any questions, feel free to, you know, have them. Any questions on the market or changing or real estate of what we just discussed. You know, I hope that what I just shared, you understand that you gotta know what you're doing, or else, you know, I've seen people lose money. I've lost money. You know, as good as I am on the flipping or redevelopment business, you know, not everything is perfect. Not everything is gonna go according to plan. Just understand that, all right? So, anyways. Any questions, Mr. Omar, that you have for me?
Yeah, there's one from Mr. Jose Andres. What is the ideal ratio for active to pending ratio?
Great question for Mr. Jose Andres. As a matter of fact, we just did. Is it the Jose Andres that I know? Hey, my friend, is it the one that I know? I hope it is. We actually, yes, of course. Awesome, brother. We just closed the deal, and I showed him. We just closed the deal. We made more money by not. We made the same amount of money if we were going to rehab it by selling it the way it is. How funny that, how excellent and funny that is, but you need to have the right buyers for it. Where they win, you win. Not every time you invest, you're going to be able to, to win 100% of all the times, unless you hold it for 10, 20 years. Then I know that, you may not lose then. All right. So anyways, to answer the question, got distracted there, Mr. Omar. What was the question again? Oh, about the active to pending ratio. I like it when there is, let's just say as an example, 100% active to pending ratio, which means there is, let's just say as an example, 100 properties going onto the market in a 24-hour basis on that specific county, as an example, and there's 100 going pending. So if it's 100 to 100, that means that as the inventory is coming out, it's also being, taken away, going into the market, taken away. That would be the ideal. If you see 200, actives or twice the actives to one pending. So let's just say 2 deals go active in the market in 24 hours and 1 deal goes pending. That's a 200% active to pending ratio. That's telling me that 50% is being absorbed, really. And the reality of it is the fact that there's going to be more properties from buyers that buyers can choose from, and it's going to take a little bit longer to sell. You will compete with other properties that are on the market. So we got to pay attention to that. Now, I'll tell you this. I live in the Central Valley. Majority of my business is in the Bay Area. It's from San Francisco to San Jose, which I love. Now, in the Central Valley, it's very different market than the Bay. I feel that we get to experience any shift in the Bay first, and then it gets thrown. It's almost like the air, right? Or the breeze. We get to experience it, right next to the ocean first, and then it comes the breeze to the Central Valley. The same way I feel, that the market does. When the market, tends to slow down, there's going to be a lagging period that we may not feel it in the Central Valley. And the same thing could be true on many other different markets. So ideally 1-to-1 is the ideal thing, which is 100% active to pending ratio. I keep track of them every day, ever since that experience, every day, because it saved us from a punch in the face, basically.
Perfect. Now the next question is from Mr. Aaron. He says, what site can we use to track the daily numbers of homes that come on the market versus pending?
What was it again, Mr. Omar? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, what site can we use to track the daily numbers of homes that come on the market versus the ones that are going pending?
Well, you either have access to the MLS or get connected with a friend. In this case, is this Arun? Mr. Arun?
Yes.
Okay. You either have access to to the MLS, but it's kind of tedious going every single day and checking it out. There is a service that I'm bringing out, ladies and gentlemen, especially for Northern California. I partner up with an engineer who automated it. The idea came with from the mastermind that we conduct on a weekly basis, And it came from my very good friend, Mr. Joe Metz. And to me, it's all about systems, right? So we automated it. We made it into a system that now I track 8 different counties or 8 or 9 different counties in the entire Northern California automatically. We partner up with this engineer that now he's getting all this data, in a robotic way, so that all I got to do is just check graphs, check it, and we can focus on what really truly matters into our business. So that's going to be becoming available pretty soon. How soon, I don't know yet, but it's definitely something that it's well worth paying attention to.
Okay, Ms. Laurie asks about that if you keep track for every county.
I do. Okay. I keep track of every county.
I think those are the only questions that we have.
All right. Well, I want to congratulate every single one that is watching this webinar, because I know that at this time you could have been busy, you could have been doing something else, you decided to do something different. So congratulations. And I can tell you this much. Go ahead, if you're really serious about building your business, whether you're a real estate agent, real estate broker, whether you're experienced, not experienced, whether you got education, no education, I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your past is. I don't care if you got money, no credit. You could be bankrupt, or you could totally be unemployed, and wherever you are, I can tell you this much. If you're serious about building wealth and building a great, real estate business career, you're going to want to be part of how to find freaking awesome real estate deals. You go ahead and get the recording for $497. You have the entire thing you will have access to. On top of it, you will be able to, obviously view it as many times. Let me tell you this much. If you view it 497 times, it only costs you $1 per view. Where can you get that? Nowhere. And guess what? One deal that you do, I can get, you better be making over $500 on one deal, right? So it's probably, if you don't make $500, then you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be in this business to begin with. But go ahead, go to Level Up Now Academy /find and get yourself started. Even if you think you know it, trust me, there's things that you're going to learn that it'll blow your mind away. Just like one of my people that I admire, one of my coaches that I personally got back when I first met him, Mr. Jason Busey, he spoke at that event, and it was interesting because he said, "Who's going to be in the room?" And I said, "Hey, it's going to be I think a lot of new people." And in the room, there were very high caliber people, very well experienced real estate investors who actually were in the room. And when he was there, Mr. Jason sends me an email, a text, and an email says, "Raul, man, if I had known the caliber of information." Now, mind it, this is a guy that makes over $1 million consistently in real estate for the past 6-7 years, sends me a text and says, "If I had known the information that you were going to share, I would have been here since the morning." Now, just because you know how to invest doesn't mean you can't continue to learn and get your craft better and hone it to a higher, degree. So 497 it's really, I'll tell you this much, it's probably less than a car payment. So, hopefully that doesn't hold you. And if you don't have the 497, you need this the most. If you do have it, you don't have no excuses. If you want greatness, you got to continue to become better, so that you can experience greatness. Congratulations. That's it for me, today. Welcome to the weekly real estate talk show with Raul Luna and with my friend, Mr. Omar Alcaraz, who he decided to freaking leave us, and go to Spain pretty soon. I still don't get his train of thought, but, God bless him. He wants to leave America. Go ahead and make it happen, Mr. Omar.
Thank you.
We'll still do business from freaking Spain, all right?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
So go ahead and, get your course. I don't know what is it that you're waiting for. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great one.